topic was Year 4 forces, and I'm just going to talk through about my first lesson and how I'd go about teaching my lesson. So the first thing I have found with my Year 4s, I would bring back with the success criteria. This is our unit of forces. This is where I want you to get at the end. Just giving them that little quick idea, just a 2-minute intro. Let's talk about, here is where you probably were with your forces. What is a force? What is a type of force? What is a non-contact and contact force? And this is where you need to be by the end. Then we'd go into a little game. So that's just a quick little 2-minute intro talking about, here's the end goal of this whole unit. The game that I have put in place to get the students to engage in the topic of forces is they would be sitting in a circle as a class, and we'd have about 3 circles with different size of balls. This is just dropping it now. My example ball, where the students would sit in the middle, there'd be a ball in the middle, and you ask them, how would we move this ball? Trying to get them to think about, would we push or would we pull the ball? We can't really pull the ball because we need to move the ball away from ourselves. So that's the first game. Sorry, just put that over. So how would we move our ball? The response I would want from my students is we would push the ball. I would push this ball away from me. That's a force, I'm pushing the ball away. Another response would be we could roll the ball, which would become back to pushing again. Trying to get them to think about that push and pull force, just the intro of what forces are. I would secondly then change to a paper aeroplane. Is the paper aeroplane going to move like the ball would move? The paper aeroplane would fly through the air. Why would it fly through the air? Miss, because there's air resistance. It's going to fly through the air. There's also a push force. You're pushing the plane away from you. Again. The activity I would go into to get the students to explore the pushing of the balloon away, I would get my students to blow up a balloon, ask them to, first they would write their name on the balloon so they don't lose it. I would get them to blow up the balloon, and then they would let it go and it would travel around the room. Talking in pairs, they're going to talk about what kind of force happened. Why do they think it happened? So the balloon's a push force. What else are they thinking about? Air resistance, back to that aeroplane. Then in pairs, they'll have an aeroplane and a balloon, and they're going to play with different ways that they can do different forces. So that'd be about 5 to 10 minutes where they're exploring how a balloon is different to a plane, and then they're exploring the balls as well within little activities. So that's just that activity at first. To finish it off, this would be where I'm trying to assess the students' prior knowledge again, but get a formative assessment so I can look back on where they're at and where we need to readjust the lesson for the next lesson, which will come back to our anchor chart. So I've just done my example anchor chart, and this is what I expect the kids would do, because this is the knowledge that they should already have from Year 2, whether they know a force is to move an object away, a force changes the state of motion, a push force is to move that object away, and a pull force is to pull an object towards themselves. Back to that, I get students in pairs, they'll be doing their anchor charts together. So not doing it in a group because I don't want them to just copy straight off, here's the smart one, they know what science is, let's copy them. Just pairs, just thinking about it back to the activity with their pairs before. They would each write their own anchor chart, which I would collect at the end, and they would refer back to throughout the unit. So when they look into magnetism, they would add that onto their next anchor chart, the next lesson. Then when they move into gravity, they'd add gravity back onto that. So we were just focusing for my lesson, the push and the pull, which was the ball, let's push the ball away. How could we make this ball pull? How can we pull this ball towards us? With Miss, we could tie a rope onto the ball and then pull the rope and pull that ball towards